सेव किया था ना?
मैं सिर्फ इसलिए गया था क्योंकि उसने मुझे कॉल किया, that's it. But listen तो.
Save it for someone else.
जिंदगी में सेव करना जरूरी है, मगर जब बात पैसों की हो, सिर्फ सेविंग से काम नहीं चलेगा। इक्विटी म्यूचुअल फंड्स में इन्वेस्ट कीजिए और अपने सेविंग्स को आगे बढ़ने का मौका दीजिए।
Mutual fund investments are subject to market risks. Read all scheme-related documents carefully.
Lord of all the jinns, Iblis, the cursed one, lurks deep in the bowels of the Bodleian library, his head crowned in a thicket of great ram horns, and his lower body covered, perhaps a bit oddly, in a hot pink skirt. The ghoul with the talons of an ostrich and the hooves of a mule and a beak instead of a mouth glowers out at us. Al-Ahmar Malik, scimitar in hand, rides his lion to war. The court of the cursed one includes Caboose, who infiltrates our nightmares, and Scylla, seducer of hapless men, who makes them dance madly before she devours them. Ever since a phone call made by Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf politician Uzma Kardar leaked online 2 years ago, we've come to know of the critical role jinns and black magic play in shaping Prime Minister Imran Khan's imagination. The former Prime Minister's wife, Bushra Riaz, kept 2 meat-eating jinns to guard her family and gather the secrets of its enemies, the tape revealed. The jinns Bushra Riaz has kept in her sprawling Banigala home are, among other things, agents of an insurrection that seems set to subvert Pakistan's established political order, which is set up around deference to the generals. The jinns are winning. Facing deep fractures in the Pakistan Army's ranks, the Director General of the Inter-Services Intelligence has been forced to emerge from Parda to defend the army. For generations, coalitions of generals and subservient politicians collaborated to use religion and, when necessary, bayonets to maintain the Islamic Republic. Imran and his jinns have upended that order. A new Pakistan is being built around a utopian pop Islam that recognizes no authority but his own. The stunningly illustrated manuscript of the medieval Kitab al-Bulhan, or the Book of Wonders in the Bodleian Library, isn't just a catalogue of our inner terrors. There are images on astronomy, philosophy, on astrology, on the riches to be found through distant expeditions, as well as the hard work involved in economic production. The state and society, the book seems to suggest, also involves the magical and improbable, powers that can turn the world upside down. Imran Khan might one day consider writing an autobiography, perhaps to answer the accounts of freewheeling sex, cocaine use and casual corruption brought by his former wife, Riham Khan. But until then, the Kitab al-Bulhan isn't a bad source of insight into what might be happening in his mind. The cricket star turned politician is a populist, committed not to the construction of a particular political or economic system, but to an Islamic zeitgeist or cultural climate that fuses together social conservatism and aspirational yearning. Through its 4 periods of military rule, Pakistan's army sought to build the same kind of Republic of God Imran Khan is now promising, each time in a strange kind of pas de deux with the politicians. The Islamic Republic that had emerged from the embers of partition was meant to be a modern ideological state. Following a period of chaos with 7 prime ministers falling in the years from 1951 to 1957, Lieutenant General Ayub Khan took it upon himself to provide the state with the structures of political power that its parties should have created. In essence, a Praetorian class, a military class, allied itself with the feudal elite, building a strange political order that stood somewhere between tyranny and democracy. Even though General Ayub appointed himself Field Marshal and Supreme Commander of the Armed Forces, the scholar Steve Cohen points out, the civilian bureaucracy remained his principal tool for administration. Generals, it is true, became ministers and governors, but the Field Marshal really relied on politicians like then Foreign Minister Zulfikar Ali Bhutto for political wisdom and counsel. The regime saw itself as modernizing, The term Islamic was excised out of the country's 1956 self-description as an Islamic republic, though this would prove short-lived. In return for handing over management of political institutions, the military received Western equipment and generous financial subsidies. Foreign Minister Zulfikar, not the generals, would design the plan to seize Kashmir using irregular forces in the War of 1965. Fears were in fact raised about the conceptual wisdom of his plans by General Muhammad Musa, the army chief, but he was brushed aside. Following Pakistan's military defeat in 1965, the political actors asserted themselves. From 1967, Zulfikar Ali Bhutto set up a socialist-leaning, Islam-coloured mass movement among the disenfranchised working classes of Punjab and Sindh. In the east, the Bengali nationalist politics of the Awami League flourished. The tensions unleashed by these new forces required firmer military management. In 1969, General Yahya Khan staged a counter-coup, removing Ayub. Yahya had planned to act as an arbiter between the left-leaning populism represented by Zulfikar and Sheikh Mujibur Rahman's Bengali nationalism. The new policies of Ayub, though, threw the weight of the military behind Zulfikar, setting the stage for the War of 1971. Lieutenant General Gul Hassan Khan, the Chief of General Staff, now did to Yahya what the general had done to his own predecessor. Zulfikar Ali Bhutto got his opportunity to rule. He instrumentalized religion, proscribing the heterodox Ahmadi faith and vowing war without end over Kashmir. The Prime Minister's excesses, he would parade former Army Chief General Ziaul Haq before foreign visitors, describing him as "my monkey," had the inevitable outcome. As the economy began to splutter, Zulfikar was led to the gallows by his monkey. General Pervez Musharraf, the fourth army chief to stage a coup, threw Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif into prison and then exile. Sharif had sought to install Lieutenant General Khwaja Ziauddin in place of the Kargil architect. Things weren't very well planned. Brigadier Javed Malik had to tear a star off his own uniform so General Ziauddin could have the required complement of 4 bits of brass on his shoulder. General Musharraf, though, had little difficulty crushing Nawaz and forcing him into exile. The counter-coup against General Musharraf would eventually come in 2007 when a movement by protesting lawyers allowed General Ashfaq Parvez Kayani to ease the Kargil loser out of office. Imran's rise came about at a time of profound crisis in civil-military relationship. The killing of Al-Qaeda chief Osama bin Laden provoked efforts by President Asif Ali Zardari's government to displace the military from political decision-making altogether. General Qamar Javed Bajwa in turn proved profoundly reluctant to cede influence to Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif on significant questions of strategic policy. The civil-military relationship had deadlocked. The manufacturing of Imran by the military as a trusted proxy, superbly documented by the scholar Christine Fair, came about because the military believed it had created this simulacrum of a sultan, someone who was charismatic, grand and victorious, who could act as a cover for its own rule. The simulacrum, though, imagined himself to be the real thing and tried exercising power over the army itself. Imran Khan's pro-Taliban policies divided the army down the middle, pitting pro-jihad commanders like Lieutenant General Faiz Hamid against more cautious pro-Western generals. The Prime Minister's hawkish language on Kashmir and India sometimes undermined his military's own efforts to seek peace on the line of control. The cricket captain, most important, succeeded in building himself an independent power base drawing on pop Islam. Imran's pietist postures reached out to a lower middle class whose ambitions had been frustrated by the elites who control both the politics and the military. Islam became more deeply embedded in school curricula. To commemorate the month of the Prophet Muhammad's birth, Imran ordered that, quote, no music or movie or obscenity be tuned to in all form of transport vehicles. Imran cast himself as a global culture warrior on the blasphemy issue, battling countries from France to Norway to protect the honor of the Prophet. And he set up a new clerical council to guide the course of national policy. Likely, Bushra helped set the stage for these developments. Even though she has no formal status among Barelvi clerical networks, she opened doors into a world of small-town pop religion and the new social classes who had coalesced around it. Even as Imran battled General Bajwa, the Prime Minister insisted on the release of violent anti-blasphemy movement leader Saad Hussain Rizvi from prison. He vocally backed peace deals with the Taliban and allowed the leadership of the Lal Masjid, which had engaged in armed insurrection in 2007, to re-emerge. These were closely guarded military domains which Imran was trying to seize. The confrontation had become inevitable. General Bajwa and his successors would like to be done with the nightmare they gave birth to. But their reluctance to move beyond harsh words to actual action show Imran has real support and influence. Large numbers of senior officials, among them anti-Taliban war hero Lieutenant General Tariq Khan, have made no secret of their sympathies for Imran. Families of army personnel have come out in his support after the former Prime Minister was removed from office with Bajwa's efforts. The Djinns are proving much more powerful than the generals, setting the ground for an apocalyptic battle that will rage across Pakistan for years. I'm Praveen Swami and I'm National Security Editor of ThePrint. Thank you for listening to Security Code.